So every year at the end of our season, we like to do something really special. That is, hand the wheel of our car over to you guys, the viewers. Here we go. And we literally let you steer us any direction you choose. Not you, Richie, the viewers. Come on now.
Oh, sorry.
And this year we had a whole mountain's worth of entries. But at the end of the day, there was only one town left standing on the top of that hill. Hillsboro! Oh, yeah. Woohoo! This episode was made for y'all with the help of our awesome partners. Check the caption for more info. Hillsboro is about 2 hours north of Austin on I-35, right where the interstate splits into a Y, taking you to Fort Worth or Dallas 1 more hour up the road. But while you're here, why not stay a while? Now this was our Viewer's Choice winner, and we got a full day ahead of exploring the reasons why. So if you've driven north or south on I-35, like ever, chances are you've probably gone through Hillsboro. But have you ever seen the real side of town? To see the true Hillsboro, you gotta take an exit and get back into the historic heart of town. Exiting now. Past the outlet malls and truck stops that we all know so well, and into pre-highway Hillsboro, which as soon as you take an exit, feels like you aren't just stepping off the interstate, but stepping back in time. For decades, the heart of Hillsboro has set just far enough away from the growth that it has remained almost completely untouched by time. Many storefronts and buildings date back to before the turn of the century. And with the Hill County Courthouse as its anchor, well, just like this classic car, downtown Hillsboro is a vintage all its own. Woo! Yeah, buddy. Kind of fits in with Hillsboro, you know what I mean? Look around. And if you find yourself wishing for more of the good old days, well, there's a museum for that right here in town, the Roadside America Museum. Tucked into an old car dealership, it's chock full of classic memorabilia, old ads, and vintage cars, including the one we were driving. And it's all owned by classic collector Carol Estes. This is like eye candy in every direction.
Basically, it's a collection of memories.
Just about everybody who comes in goes, I had one of those when I was a kid.
Exactly. I call it a trip back in time for the older people, and it's a history lesson for the younger kids, you know. Just when I show them a 45 record, they don't know what the heck that is.
Well, I do know what a 45 record is, but most of this stuff is way before my time. What sparked your collection for you? What was...
It's about 78 or 79, I bought my first piece of Grapette memorabilia. And then I'd buy another piece of Grapette, another, and then it turned into a full-blown sickness. It's gotten to the point where if I buy a new item to put in here, it's like pouring a gallon of water in the ocean. It just sucks it up, and it's
like, where did that go?
It's gone.
An ocean of memories, and definitely enough Grapette soda to float a boat. So, as Carol believes, because no one said otherwise, this is the largest collection of Grapette memorabilia in the world. We got Grapette soda cups, we got old bottles, Grapette piggy banks, Grapette patches, Grapette stickers. And that's just one small piece of Carol's collection. This place is pure nostalgic insanity. What? We landed on the moon? Awesome.
What you got there, Jack?
I could have been a pet boy, right? Manny, Mo, Jack, and Chet. It just fits with it. Manny, Mo, Jack, and Chet. And then there are the cars. Oh, the cars. Convertible Corvette, classic station wagon. It's like, yeah, we're slowly moving back in time all the way to the buggy. So this is set up like an old general store. Bubblegum machine. Look at all this stuff out of an old drugstore. Agmatrinsic. That's right, Agmatrinsic. For all your Agmatrinsic needs. Heroin could use some of that. I think I might have had one of these as a kid. Popeye the Sailor Man, he eats all his spinach and beats all the bad guys. Popeye the Sailor Man.
No, that's not.
What does it go? I don't know.
I'm strong to the finish. Eats me spinach.
I should have remembered that one. But I do remember this guy. Yes, I would like one Happy Meal, extra chicken nuggets, please. But maybe your childhood hamburger icon was a little bit bigger. This guy appreciates a good cheeseburger as much as I do. That looks delicious, big boy. Oh man, all this talk of soda and cheeseburgers is making me hungry. Well, luckily, I know just the diner back on the square. This is a Tisket-a-Tasket, and just like the sign says, it really is a scoop in time. Taking patrons back to the diner days of the 50s when poodle skirts were the fashion and soda pop always hit the spot. Owners Ronnie and Paula Earp combined their love of sweets and antiques into this one throwback of a shop.
So is it more soda fountain or antique shop? What's the balance there?
It was actually about the soda fountain
Okay.
because I grew up with them. I'd always wanted one, and I like sweet. Let's cut to the chase.
Yeah.
And y'all were at Carol's.
Yeah,
This is my street, Rod.
Yeah, hey, everybody's got to have a hobby, right?
sir.
Yeah.
And if Ronnie's hobby is here on the floor, well, that leaves the ceiling to his wife's hobby.
My wife collects trains.
Okay.
If you look around, there's trains everywhere. So
That's
you never
awesome.
know what's going to run. This was the White Pass, a train out of Alaska.
Alaska, huh? Well, luckily, this place has a dessert that's even better than that baked Alaskan or whatever they serve up north. It's Texas homemade ice cream.
Gives us a chance to be creative. We've now gone crazy with it.
How many flavors?
We've got 10. And
And no, there's no stopping
there's
it.
no stopping.
Once you're at 10,
somebody,
this is going to keep
somebody figures something out, and we just keep going.
Flavors like homemade cookies and cream, peanut butter cup, banana. It's all old-fashioned. Even their milkshake recipe, which has an extra shot of vanilla. You know, I won't judge you if you want to eat dessert first, just so long as you save room for lunch, too.
We're going to do something special in honor of you.
What?
We're going to make a day tripper burger, and I'm basically going to put everything on it that I can find in the kitchen.
That
So,
sounds like my kind of burger. All right.
Let's see what Ronnie has in mind.
Man, what could be more old-fashioned than a burger and a shake right here? Although this is definitely not an old-fashioned burger. Got 2 patties, bacon, 2 kinds of cheese, lettuce, tomato, onion, and then, check that out, jalapeno relish. A burger of day tripper proportions. Oh, that is delicious. The jalapeno relish, kind of bringing a sweet heat to it. Something very different from just your standard old pickle jalapenos. This is phenomenal. See, the good thing about it is I take a few bites, I pause, then I go have dessert. Whew, doggy. I love a place like this. I mean, you're already on a square that feels historic, and then you find a restaurant that just keeps that feeling going, sort of like you've stepped back in time and you don't ever have to go back to present day.
All right, so now that we're fed and back on the square, let's explore a bit on foot, shall we? Now, it may look crazy old, but this courthouse was actually built in 1999. Although I should probably say rebuilt, as it practically burned to the ground in the 90s and had to be reconstructed with the help of Willie Nelson. True story. However, most of the other buildings on the square are as old as they look, including this one, housing Bond Pharmacy. Started all the way back in 1881, it's officially the oldest pharmacy in Texas. And to this day, well, it still helps customers with their ailments. Although the equipment has been upgraded a bit for sure. But what's this historic marker beside the pharmacy?
Okay, so this is Bond Pharmacy, and right next to it is what's known as Bond's Alley. And according to this thing, it was like the seediest part of town. They had like street peddlers, fist fights, even cockfights. Man, I wonder what it looks like today. Oh, this is. It looks fun. Oh, yeah. We'll stay on this side.
Yeah, I think we'll stick to the happy side of Hillsboro. But there's another spot in town that's also known for housing hooligans and rebel rousers, the Old County Jail, that has housed many a familiar criminal in its day.
We now interrupt this programming to remind you to like and subscribe. Now back to the road.
First of all, there was Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll himself. Then, Willie Nelson, the red-headed stranger. And finally, a member of the Bonnie and Clyde Barrow gang, the only prisoner that ever busted out. But let's see who's in jail today. Looks like it's former Sheriff Jeff Lyons. who's going to give us a tour of what is now the Cell Block Museum.
Kind of an exciting piece of Texarkana history. This facility was built in 1893.
Wow.
It was also the home of the sheriff, along with his guests, commonly referred to as inmates. So
Involuntary guests, right?
That's right. The sheriff and his family got the front, the prisoners got the back.
That's funny. As long as they're, locked away behind cast iron, that's
very
that's
secured,
fine.
very locked away.
And as an added bonus, the sheriff's wife got to cook for everybody.
Oh, cool. It's a testimony of an old sheriff and his family. So breakfast consisted of 5 biscuits, 2 eggs per prisoner, which were usually scrambled, and always plenty of coffee. That's a pretty good way to start the day right there. You could do a lot worse out on the street. You could starve. That's not bad.
Today, both the home and the jail are combined into one excellent historic museum.
This room here is where people would be put 4 to a cell that couldn't cohabitate with a bunch of people.
Does not get along well with fellow inmates.
Does not get along with fellow inmates well. You could smoke in this jail, so people with matches would write with soot on the walls and anything else that they could. The graffiti has not been retouched or removed, so what people wrote while they were incarcerated here is still on the walls today.
Wow.
I'm sure if you look very closely, you might just find the early lyrics to Jailhouse Rock.
So Jeff, what about this guy?
Well, Elvis was fond of a restaurant here called the Andrews Cafe. Well, he ran into a local police officer one night when he had a few too many and got charged with drunken disorderly and ended up here in the Hill County cell block.
So it don't matter if you're the king of rock and roll.
Don't matter.
You're not the king of Hillsboro.
Not the king of Hillsboro back in the day. But he didn't get a peanut butter and banana sandwich.
Yeah, no. Sheriff's wife definitely didn't serve that, huh?
But there's another famous inmate that had to bust his way out. Raymond Hamilton of the Bonnie and Clyde Barrow gang.
All right, here's all the info about the jailbreak. They actually murdered a jeweler just outside of town. Got arrested sometime later. Raymond Hamilton was the only one who ended up in jail, and they came and busted him out. This was actually the very first murder committed by the Clyde Barrow gang. Man, right here in Hill County.
But more than just being about crimes and criminals, well, every inch of this museum is covered with the stories of Hill County. From the frontier Fort Graham to being the home of Texas Lieutenant Governor Bob Bullock and Willie Nelson.
All right, so there are rumors circulating the internet that Mr. Willie actually spent maybe a night or two in this jail. Well, it turns out that's not true, but he does love Hillsboro and Hill County. He was born in Abbott just down the road. He's refurbished the courthouse, the Methodist Church in Abbott, and donated some of his records to this museum. Platinum. He got his platinum records. That's cool. 1 million copies of Willie's Greatest Hits, Red-Headed Stranger. Who cares about the records? How about the platinum cassette tapes? Anybody bring their Walkman? Let's see if that sucker plays.
You know, I love a good museum, and this is a great one. It just goes to show you that you truly never know what history may be hiding in every small town. But while we're on a history kick, well, it's time to skip across town to another great museum that sits on the campus of Hill College. The name on the sign says Texas Heritage Museum, but that doesn't quite sum it up. To tell us more, here's Museum Dean John Verse Lewis.
It looks like you guys do a ton of stuff back here.
Well, thank you. You know, our mission here is to explore Texans and Texans during war and how those experiences affect us today. We don't get into politics here. It's men and women's stories that fought in war, and it's a unique place for them to share their experiences.
If you want to see real medals of honor and learn real stories of battle from a Texan point of view, well, there is no better museum. It also publishes books and keeps capsule histories of every unit in the Civil War. But for most trippers, it's a place to learn about the sacrifices Texans have made in every major conflict, going back to the beginning of Texas.
Chet, what we're looking at here are some original firearms from the Texas Revolution and the Republic.
And these are authentic? These aren't replicas?
Correct. They are authentic. Here's a couple flintlocks that were recovered from a Mexican officer at the Battle of San Jacinto.
If you're into guns, well, this place has plenty of them. From World War I to World War II, and even some used against the U.S. in Vietnam.
Viet Cong weapons, a lot of these booby traps and things are one of a kind. A lot of men talked about it, but there was no more examples. This was a Chinese recoilless rifle that was used in the jungles. These were used to shoot mainly down our helicopters. in Vietnam.
Because of its focus on Texans at war, well, this museum attracts the best of the best in artifacts with a Texas connection. But far more fascinating to me than the weapons are the stories of the brave soldiers who carried them into battle. And that includes the story of Milton Holland, the first native Texan to receive the Medal of Honor.
He was a former slave, and he was born in Austin. And when the Civil War broke out, he joined the 5th U.S. Ohio Colored Infantry and received the Medal of Honor.
Wow. But we must always remember that there were brave men on both sides of the Civil War, including those of General Hood's Texas Brigade, who gave out its own Medals of Honor, of which this is the only one still known to exist. But if you want to talk about a hero among heroes, then look no further than Audie Murphy, the most decorated soldier in World War II.
Right here, what you're looking at is Audie Murphy's World War II uniform with all of his ribbons.
Wow, his actual uniform.
Correct. And that very top one is the Medal of Honor ribbon. For a lot of people that can't believe what he went through and what he did, you have to remember, he kind of lied about his age going in. So he really went in around age 16. And so the time he was the most decorated soldier of World War II, you know, he's a young man being 18 years old.
Ah, man, I'm just amazed at what all the soldiers in World War II did.
I mean, they're definitely the greatest generation of our country.
Yeah, for sure.
Bravery in battle is a story that's much bigger than any museum could ever contain. War is something that I've never seen personally, but am sincerely thankful for all those who have. And to all the veterans watching, Texans or otherwise, thank you very much for your service. Okay, so after a morning spent inside the museums, I think it's time to head outdoors a little bit. So we're gonna go to a lake that's just a few miles west of Hillsboro. We're gonna do something out there that you can only do on just a handful of lakes in Texas. And it's gonna be pretty awesome. Right, Brandon?
Oh, yeah.
We're headed to Lake Whitney and setting off from Soldiers Bluff Park. Now, Brandon's the guy I bring along for serious adventures. You see, not only is Lake Whitney known for its water, but also its rock, and the way the limestone cliffs collide with the water below, making it a perfect spot for a special style of climbing called deep water soloing.
So have you ever done this on Lake Whitney? This is my first time. Awesome. I'm excited.
Cool. And while we aren't yet climbing, well, the adventure has already begun.
I really expected the most exciting thing to be the rock climbing, but turns out this hike is pretty darn exciting too.
The key is never to look down. The cool thing about deep water soloing, I think, is it's like the simplest form of climbing. I guess really the only thing you might need is a climbing noodle.
That's the very sophisticated piece of equipment on our backs. It's just to save you from treading water. And finally, we've made it to the wall known in these parts as the corral. First step, get wet. Oh, the perils of filming in March.
Holy moly!
That is cold.
That's some serious motivation to not fall off the wall.
I feel my body slowly shutting down.
All right, let's get started. The great thing about this sort of climbing is that if you fall, well, the climb suddenly turns into an awesome cliff jump.
Woo! All right, your turn. This is pretty high. Ready?
I call that a win-win, but there are still safety precautions to take.
Number one is water depth. You don't know what's underneath the water.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Number two is rock quality. So if you start climbing and the rock breaks off, you know, you're going in with it.
Right? Yep, sometimes the wall falls in with you. A little added adventure for you.
Right.
And finally, always do this with a partner. Now mine happens to be a much better climber than me. But hey, I'm not here to set records, just have a little fun. Man, this has got to be one of the most exciting things to do in Texas. And if it were July, well, I could go all day. But in March,
I think it would have been a little bit easier if the water wasn't like 65 degrees.
I'm frozen. When your core body temperature is about I don't know, maybe 72, it's probably time to get out of the water. Ah, it's so cold. Let's go find something to eat.
well, if there's anything rock climbing and swimming is good for, it's working up an appetite. And if there's anything day tripping's good for, well, that's eating barbecue. So let's head back to Hillsboro for some serious smoke that's rising from the pits at Taylor Smokehouse. Like a true Texan sort of joint, this place is stuffed into an old auto shop. But more than traditional Q, owner Matt Taylor has his own methods for, well, everything.
Woo! Oh, I love that smell.
Oh yeah, real wood, nothing like it. No electricity, no gas, just real wood doing the job. That's what you gotta have.
Texas way. So how long does it take to do your brisket?
From start to finish, I got about 40 to 45 hours.
What?
Yeah.
All right, how's that work?
I hand trim them, I dry rub marinate them for 24 hours.
Okay.
Smoke them for a full 12 hours, and then wrap them and finish them.
Dang, that's a lot of love.
Every detail is dialed into Matt's standards. You know, most places use one kind of wood. Matt uses 3.
I blend primarily the mesquite, and then I blend in a little bit of oak and pecan throughout the day as I'm smoking.
So you got a recipe not just for the rubs and, you know, the cook time, but also the wood.
Yeah. Combining them all, it just comes out with the best flavor.
It's just the magic right there.
A lot of love, a little magic, and the occasional bacon. Oh yeah, that's right. They smoke their own bacon.
So this will be a jalapeno bacon, and then this is just a black pepper and kosher salt bacon.
How soon is this going to be ready? Because I'm ready to take a couple pounds home.
Well, we could probably have you something ready before you leave.
That's going to be the greatest, you know, barbecued doggy bag ever.
Yeah, but before I place my to-go order, how about my for here order?
So this is a brisket that's taken like 40 hours to prep.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Try you a piece of that.
Oh, that's good. And for the lean side of a brisket, incredibly tender. Oh, yeah. I'm picking up an awesome flavor in there.
Oh, I'm not giving you the recipe for the dry.
Oh, yeah. No, but just tell me, how many ingredients in there?
I don't think I have enough fingers to count that high, Chip.
Really? Oh, wow. All right.
Personalized rub, and well, you definitely won't find this sausage at any other joints either.
And I did not want a normal jalapeno sausage because everybody has that. So I had him custom grind both sausages for me, a Polish and a Chipotle. And there's you a piece of Chipotle to try.
Ooh. Ooh, there's the sting.
Not like any jalapeno sausage you've ever had.
No, never. That's a different kind of flavor completely.
Well, if you think that's good, you gotta let me make you a sandwich. I have a special sandwich on the menu.
All right.
It's called a smoking gun.
Okay.
This massive sandwich starts with a thick cut of brisket, pulled pork, Chipotle sausage, sauce, and jalapenos. Oh, yeah.
So this is the smoking gun. We got many, many layers of deliciousness. Oh man, this is awesome. Because you hit all these different layers of texture. You got the really tender beef and then the snap of the sausage, the crunch of the jalapenos. Wow. And there's the kick coming through. I don't know why. Really was ever eating pickles on my barbecue. It always needs to be jalapenos. Always. That is good stuff right there, as evidenced by the fact that it is all over my face.
What a day. We started off heading back to the good old days, and well, this good new day never stopped. We found lots of history, outdoor adventure, and some food as big as Texas. I gotta give it to you viewers, because y'all knew that this is a hill everybody should climb.
So I'll see all y'all out on the road. Bye con Dios, amigos. Man, look at all of Carol's old cars. Pontiac Grand Prix. Yeah, there's definitely an engine up there. Just
Which part?
yeah, that part, you know, just the general part right there.
Trying to figure out where we're at.
You're not supposed to roll on this, but we have no idea where we are, truthfully. Where we go, very rarely are there any maps at all.
And this is just a phone that I found in this piece of grass right here.
Yeah.
We're using our natural resources.
Conveniently dropped for us on the mode pathway.
On the mode pathway. Yeah, we're out here in the middle of nowhere. There's clearly no signs of civilization.
What are you doing?
Sorry. Sorry, guys. I'm going to start making the show alone. No one else can fit in the car.
Just
so.
like you and some GoPros?
Yeah, that's right. I can fit the gear in the back. Y'all can get in the box if you want.
Howdy, y'all. Follow along with my adventures at Chet Tripper on Instagram and at The Day Tripper TV on Facebook and YouTube. Or head to thedaytripper.com for travel guides, past episodes, and info on our mobile app and Team Day Tripper.
This episode was made for y'all with the help of our awesome partners. Check the caption for more info. Howdy y'all, Chet the Day Tripper here. Thanks so much for tripping with us. Remember, while you're here, like this video, subscribe to our channel so that we can stay out there on the road and keep on tripping. Did we miss anything in this town? Leave us a comment, let us know. We love finding out about new stops with all of your tips. And if you love Epic Texas Day Trips, remember to check our channel. We got a lot of them on there. Also, don't forget, if you want some sweet Day Tripper merch or another cool Texas-made product, come see us in Georgetown at the Day Tripper World Headquarters. You can also shop online if you check the link down there in the caption. All right, y'all. Bye con Dios, amigos.